guys, what is up? All right, so we are going to take a look at the BMP. Again, if you kind of looked at the last video, that was more of an update of where I was currently at. But I did get an email shortly after I posted it, and someone was interested in it. So I guess I am here at this point, just wanting to try and adjust some of these lights here. Just wanted to let y'all get a little bit better visual. In the last video, I did more or less a comparison of the BMP to this, and essentially that was my essential thought, or I'm sorry, my beginning or opening thoughts, just doing a general comparison between the two. Again, I do like the trigger. I'm hoping the bolt will break in. I'm hoping it'll kind of smooth out some of that Cerakote and make it a little bit better to kind of rack around. But overall, this is, I'm not sure on the model, make and model number, but let's see, I'll try and find it for y'all and post it up. But overall, I haven't had any issues with it. The only issue I've had was trying to get the scope base. And so I just wanted to make sure I made note of this. So in general, if you buy a scope base, all right, if you buy with the 308, you're buying a short action. And with the short action, they have the bigger screws. It is, the screws are number 8, I believe, number 8 screws. And standard short action scope bases take number 6 screws. As you can see, this is a short action, and those number 6 screws are still in there. And what I ended up having to do was slowly, it took me about 20 minutes to slowly do it by hand, but I had to enlarge each of the inner holes so that the number 8 screws from the long action would fit, because the holes in the short action were only sized for a number 6, not a number 8. So with that being said, if y'all do get a BMP, or I'm sorry, a Premier, and you're kind of stuck, you don't want to take the chance on accidentally over drilling the holes or messing them up, you can put a long action on a short action. Only thing is you will only have 3 screws instead of 4. So let's see, so you have 2 and then 2. So it kind of gives you an idea. So you have the slope, you have the short area, and this is 20 MOA, this one is 0 MOA. And so if you put the long action on the Premier, it will come out right about here. So it does give you a little bit more space, but you know, that downside, it's only going to give you 3 securement points. And with that, I honestly would not feel insecure about it with it only being a 308. I mean, because with the weight of the rifle and everything else, I don't think I would have any issue of it shearing. I've used long action on a short action before, and I never had any issues. And that was actually using number 6 screws, with the long action being number 8 sized. So if that kind of gives you an idea. And it was a cheaper Savage that I did that on. But you know, and in the Savage cases, it was a number 6 inside of a number 8, so there would have been wiggle room, but I had it torqued down just enough with a little bit of blue Loctite. It didn't move anywhere, and I never had any issues, and I used it for 2 or 3 seasons. So I just wanted to shout that out, just let y'all know, you know, if you have a drill press, good. If not, you can use a drill. Just make sure it has like a bubble lever on it to make sure you're completely vertical. And I went really slow. I just let it slowly mill that hole and wait till it dropped, add a piece of wood up under it, and it worked perfectly. I don't know if you can see. There we go. So those 2 screws, they are flush and they're not awkwardly in there at all. So I was happy about it. So I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I just want to make note that people were aware of the size difference. And other than that, this model, it does come with a adjustable length of pull. I took one out. It's like little individual slices, if you will, or pieces, and you just have to loosen it maybe a quarter of an inch to a half an inch, and then you can lift it up and pull it out, and then you can re-cinch it back down. This one, just like the BMP model, you just loosen that, and then you can adjust it. The handle, I actually like the handle. It's flared out, so you kind of get a cup. So more or less, your hand is like that on it. And this one is a first for me, but the few times I've shot it, and it feels good. I mean, the ergonomics, I really can't complain. One thing I didn't mention is the bolt knob on this is actually smaller than the BMP. So whereas this one has one of these knurled edges, it comes out a little bit longer and actually has two knurled edges. And one thing I have heard, but I have not tried yet, is the BMP is sized and will fit inside of the Premiere Action. So I guess that's just a random bit of information. I can try it and maybe do a short on it, and just kind of throw that in my short videos. You have the indicator and the adjustability on the trigger. I believe it goes all the way up to 6 to 7 pound, and then it can be as light as 1.5 to 2 pounds. This one, I don't have a scale, but it's probably around the 3 range. It's about the same weight as the BMP, and I'm comfortable with it where it's at. And let's see, it is free float, goodness. And it does have the quick detach mounts. It has one on both sides, one right here, one on the back side. Overall, it's nice. And then, as you can see, it drops quite perfectly, if I may add. No, that was not planned. Let's see. Trying to see if I can. All right, so what I said in the last video, you can kind of see some of the areas where that Cerakote is starting to wear, just from bringing that bolt in and out. And I've slowly been working that down, trying to smooth it up, because the whole thing about the Premiere having the milled bolt was it was supposed to be smoother, but again, compared to the BMP right out of the box, this one's a little bit rougher. But again, this one does have that Cerakote, whereas the other one has that the blue. I'm not 100% on the coatings that they use, but this one feels gritty, versus the BMP is more of a really smooth finish. So I believe with the bolt being smooth and the finish being smooth, I believe those kind of aid each other. Whereas with this one kind of having downward cutting grooves, that when you push it in, it's kind of biting against that rough finish. But other than that, the stock is nice. I may swap it out, or I may try and do a camo spray paint on it. Kind of up in the air on it. I've seen some decent videos, and I thought, hey, might as well try and get some different camo patterns together that I can do via spray paint, and hopefully just see what I can do on it. you know, for a $1,600 gun, I don't really know how feasible some people think that is. But between the two, this one will be my current hunting rifle. So I'm excited to be able to get out and use it. And hopefully sooner or later I can get a decent bearing on the swamp fox and what it's about. The adjustability on it is a little stiff, so you know, kudos to having that throw lever. And they have this one, which is a narrow, and they have one that comes up to about right here. I went ahead and just put the short one on, just kind of cuts down on the size that you know, of the knob, or cuts down on the overall height of it, so while I'm walking or anything, nothing will snag on it or whatnot. But other than that, just using the Caldwell lead sled. I've had it for 5 years now. They do have the cut right here. If you're one of those guys that when you cross your arms and you set your arm right here, you can kind of hook that knuckle up in there and give you something to press on. If you use a bag, it kind of has a, see if I can get that in, kind of has this narrow edge to, I would think it would aid it in biting down into the shooting bag or backpack, or you know, whatever you're using, which I do like that feature a lot. Kind of has it hooked forward a little bit, then right here it kind of has it hooked backward. Kind of gives you a little bit more grip there. It gives you 2 mounting spots, here and here. There are no areas to place like a Picatinny rail. I would think, though, if you wanted to, you could unthread these and then place your own. You may have to resize a hole or two. But you should be able to put one right there. I have seen some people do that. And let's see, so it gives you 2 mounting points. So if you wanted to, you could move your sling to this mounted portion and then place a bipod here. I've seen that as well. Really, to each his own. And, you know, of course, you can, like I said, use the quick detach. Then you have 2 places where you can, you know, place a bipod that would be compatible for that style of mount. But, all right, so other than that, guys, hopefully I've touched on, you know, either everything or a little bit of everything. One thing I forgot about was the butt pad right here. It does take a lot of that recoil out. It feels hollow, and it's softer than some of those 870 extensions that you can get for the butt pad on those 12 gauge shotguns. So I guess now I've touched on everything. Height wise, you have about six sections of actual adjustment, and then of course, you know, you can go higher than that and then just kind of crank it down, and it'll just pinch it in there. Only issue is if you go higher than the different pre-cuts they have, you'll end up running into an issue of trying to take your bolt out. And let's see, I guess last thing I can show is how easy it is to service your bolt. So let me go ahead and give this a pause real fast. Alright, so let's see, I got in this mount. So as most of you know, with Bergaras, you have this indent right here. So you get it out, push that in, and boom, it slides right out. Alright, I've only done this once or twice. So what you do is you grab the rear of the bolt and you push it in and you go counterclockwise, and then let's see, there should be a little bit of tension. All right, so that's basically, oh, whoops, sorry. It's basically what it looks like. So there we go. All right, so there's your firing pin. So definitely a lot quicker than, so you got a line. There's a little, sorry guys, I'm trying to work with my phone here. There's a little indent right here. You got to line it up with that bump. Kind of like a old style, 1911, trying to put it together. All right, so once you get it in, push down, and then now you're not putting tension on here. You're putting tension on the outer piece, and then you can rotate like that. All right, and then let's get it back in. Go ahead and rotate. All right, check fire. Check it again. All right, so literally it's just about as simple as that. Let me get this out of the mount here. All right, so I mean, other than that, the ease of takedown, I definitely like that. On the BMP, you have to use one or two different tools. So definitely a plus there. Definitely a plus on the adjustable trigger. Kind of a pain in the rear on having to mill that size out. There are some companies that already do have that size. So I'm not saying that's going to be the same case, for everything. That's just what I ran into, because Bergaras or Remington 700 compatible, and with that, the short action uses the short action screws, etc., etc. So realistically, the only issue I had was just having to mill drill those holes out. And other than that, I'm looking forward to toward hunting season. So other than that, guys, let me know what you think on the Bergara line. So far, head over heels just about, and I have no complaints. Let's see, just trying to think real fast. And let's see, the Premier, they are threaded. They do have a decent protector on there. And then it kind of locks in, which I like. The BMP, they just have like an inner rubber seal from what I recall. I haven't used a cap on that other guy in a while. But other than that, guys, hopefully this was somewhat mid-instructive, if not instructive, a decent overview. So other than that, guys, like, subscribe, and shoot down in the comments what y'all want to see next or any questions.